Hello and welcome to this lecture where we're going to be creating a VR app using Google's VR package, which includes Daydream and Cardboard. And if you're wondering about the differences between Cardboard and Daydream, Daydream is much more advanced. It requires specific hardware, so some more advanced type of Android phones to run, and you need special headsets and a remote that comes with it. But luckily, Google has included everything in sort of one VR package, so making stuff for Daydream and Cardboard, we can sort of flip the switch not too hard there. So in order to get this running, I believe the best way to create a VR game is going to be using Unity. At least that's what my VR friends tell me. I am not an expert in VR by any means. In fact, the main focus of this is to get you started and get a little sample project up and running and see how you can then work with that. And again, Unity is the platform that we're going to use to do this because they are so great with 3D programs. So the first step for us is we've got to get Unity on our computer if you don't already have that. So let's go ahead and open up a browser and just search for Unity. There's going to be the first thing that pops up. Once you're to the site, you just want to go ahead and say Get Unity. And if you click on this, it's going to have different options here. We just want the personal version, so just say personal. It's going to say, hey, you're not using this to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on you. You're saying, no, I'm just trying to figure this out for the first time. So if you click this, it's going to give you a download option here so that you can get Unity. And that's an actually pretty small file, but it's this thing that you open that it's going to allow you to then get more advanced. So we're going to open up this Unity Download Assistant. And you'll just want to go ahead and go through here and say agree or not to the different things here. As far as the things that you need, make sure you have Android build support checked. And I would have these top 4 ones. So Unity, Mono Develop, Documentation, and Standard Assets. You can choose which ones you like, but I feel like those are the minimum that you should have. So just go ahead and hit continue and move forward with that. And that'll install everything. So I already have everything on my computer, so I'm not going to go through that install process. Plus, it takes quite a while. There's some chunky files that we got to go download. The next thing that we need, so that's Unity. The next thing that we need is Google. Just search Google VR SDK, and this is going to show you what you need. So with this, go ahead. Looks like this is our top result, developers.google.com/VR/Unity. So you can download Google's VR stuff for iOS, Android, Unity, Unreal. But again, I think Unity is the best option here, even better than just straight up native Android. So when you get here, we want to go ahead and scroll down to the download. So we want to get the Google VR SDK for Unity. So go ahead and click on this. You agree to their terms and conditions. You're going to hit download SDK, and it's going to take you to this GitHub page where it's going to have the latest releases. And so, I mean, new stuff is coming out all the time. So don't worry too much about what version you have. We're going to be using version 1.110, but we'll just go ahead and hit download on that. And that's going to start a whole download process. I actually already have that on my computer, so that's why it's not showing up there. But once you have that in place, you're ready to move forward. So with that, go ahead and once you have Unity installed, go ahead and open that up, Unity. Okay. And you're going to have to sign in. You're going to have to create an account. You can do that with just, your email account or, Facebook, whatever it is that you want. But let's go ahead and start a new project. And, we are somehow lost inside of here. Here we go. So we want to create a new project. Call this whatever you want. I'm just going to maybe call mine Learning Android and spell that correctly. You can choose where do you want to put this. I'm going to put mine on the desktop. And with that, we'll go ahead and say create project. The one thing I should have mentioned, make sure you have 3D selected there. That's will be an important one. So Unity will open up here. And again, Unity is a program that allows us to create 3D environments and all sorts of gaming logic. And so this is why I think it's better to tap into Unity versus doing sort of the Daydream Cardboard stuff on your own natively with Android. I think this is just a little bit more user-friendly / you can get up and running much faster. Now, the main key point that we've got to do to move forward here is we've got to import that Google SDK stuff into here. So we're going to go to Assets, Import New Asset, and we're going to go to our downloads, and I'm going to select, oh, I'm in the wrong place here. So I want to go to assets, import package is what I want. And I want a custom package, and I want this Unity package, this, Google VR for Unity, blah, blah, blah. So you make sure you have that Unity package. If you don't have that file, that means you downloaded something incorrectly. It wasn't the right one. Maybe you got, Google VR for just Android, or you got it for iOS, right? So we want the one that was for Unity, but assuming you have one, go ahead and hit open. It's then going to ask you what parts it is that you want to import, and I just want to, take everything. So I'm going to hit this button that says all, that clicks everything, and we'll just go ahead and hit import. Okay. So once we do this, it's going to bring it down here in assets. There's all sorts of different configurations that you can work with here in order to get your app up and running. But Google has an awesome demo project that sort of just shows you the basics of what's going on. So we're going to open up this Google VR, and we're going to move into demos. And with that, we're going to move into the folder called scenes. So this contains all the examples here. So the one that we want to look at is this GVR demo. I think GVR is short for Google Virtual Reality. So anywhere you see GVR, know that that's sort of the acronym that it's got there. Okay. So this opens up. This is a sample little thing that puts us here inside of a room. And you can see this camera. This represents the user, the player in their headset. And there's going to be some boxes that are going to be showing up inside of this game. But in order to get this to run, there's a few things that we've got to do. So the first one is we want to search for settings, and we want to go first to build settings. So in build settings, go and select Android here. Okay, just go ahead and select that, and we want to do switch platform. All right, and that'll take a second to get everything up and running, but we want to have this be the thing that we're building for. So when you build something in Unity, it's kind of making a current version of your app. It's whenever we test something in the emulator, right? So luckily we can just test it here without throwing it on an actual device. That just adds another layer of complexity. You're going to want to do that when you're ready to publish your app and check it out, but for now just have that. So if you have this little Unity logo, that means you're good to go, and we can go ahead and X out of this. The next thing that we need to do is we need to search for settings, and we want to go now to project settings. So with project settings, here we go. So inside of project settings, we want to go down to player, and there's a couple options here, but the main one that we want to check down here, so we want to go down to XR settings, and we want to do virtual reality supported. So make sure you have that box checked. Also make sure that you hit this little plus button here and you say, I'm building this for Cardboard, or I'm building this for Daydream, or whatnot. So I'm going to select Cardboard here, for example. And once that's in place, we should be able to hit this plus button, and this will run our little example app. So the real key with this is, you might be clicking, try to moving around, you can't do anything. The real key is you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, and then as you move your mouse, you're suddenly now in this world, and you'll see when you hover over this, this is simulating if you had a device on your head and you were able to select something. But we'd go ahead and, for example, if we click on this box, it makes it disappear. And oh, look, there's one over there, and we can click, and it looks like this one's close to us. There's little dots floating out of the thing, but this one's up above. So you can see that's that. All right. So we're in that little room. We'll go ahead and hit this play button to stop that. Now, this is sort of the point where you have to understand Unity to sort of move forward and make things. So I'll show you kind of very simple example. If we go up here to game object and we do 3D objects, I could bring in something like a cube. So if I bring in a cube, all of a sudden I have this cube that if I use these little colored things, I can decide where the cube's going to go. Other things that I can bring inside of there, I could bring a sphere, and I can decide where I want this to go. So I'm, for example, just going to add these two objects, and I'm now going to run this. And you'll notice now there's this box behind this other one, right? Like if I get rid of that, there's still that cube there. And then look to my right, oh my goodness, there's a sphere. Now these aren't programmed to do the cool thing like they disappear when you click on it, but I'm just showing you that, this is how you could edit and make a 3D world. And it's just really outside of the scope of this class. There's awesome, great courses on Unity about how it works and getting it all set up. So the awesome thing for you is if you want to dive further with virtual reality and Daydream here, Google Cardboard, whatever it is that you'd like, you just have to learn how to use Unity. And whatever skills you learn in Unity, they don't have to just be for virtual reality with Android. You can use them to make a 3D PC game. You can use it to make iOS or Android games that don't necessarily use VR. Like any 3D world, you can sort of adapt it to go to different platforms. That's the real beauty of Unity. And over here, you can see all this stuff on the left, like GVR instant preview mode, GVR headset, right? Like that's our little player that's being controlled and whatnot. And so when you make your own worlds, you're going to want to bring one of these guys in and all this different stuff. But this is where I'm going to leave you at this point. I wanted to get you to a starting point where you could at least test this out. And again, if you wanted to put this on your device, there's great tutorials about plugging it in and get it running. But like I said with Daydream, you've really got to have an advanced enough device to handle all the hardware requirements. So hopefully you enjoyed that and can make a cool virtual world.